Hey everyone, a while ago I've made a Nova Prime build video and that one is all about speed and slow Nova. Today we will be taking a different approach and it is going to be our speedrun build. If you guys came here just to check out the build, then be sure to refer to the timestamp shown on your screen right now. And before we actually start, if you guys found this video informative, then be sure to subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of content. Let's get started. Now, a speed Nova should be not that surprising because Nova has an extraordinary mobility skill, which is her third ability, Wormhole. Combining Wormhole with escape velocity, which is its augment, you are going to get some speed running potential out of this Warframe. What does this augment do? Basically, when you travel through a wormhole, you will get a 50% speed bonus for 7 seconds. The speed boost that you get is not affected by power strength, but the duration is. Which is why for this build we're going to be focusing mainly on power efficiency, range and duration. You can also use Molecular Prime while running this build, but it may not be as useful as other builds that I've covered. And yeah, let's move on to the build. I know the video might seem a little bit short, but I will cover tips and tricks on how to use this build efficiently. This is going to be a 2-format build, similar to our slow and speed far builds. First of all, let's take a look at Fleeting Expertise and Streamline. These two mods are going to give you 170% power efficiency. Of course, the rank 3 Fleeting Expertise is a must so that you don't reduce too much power duration, which is why Primed Continuity is in the build to counter the negative power duration effects of Fleeting Expertise. Moving on, let's take a look at Firewalker. This is going to give you extra bullet jump speed, more aim glide and a longer wall lash duration. It also gives you a very cool fiery effect whenever you bullet jump. It also deals a little bit of damage. This mod might not be so necessary because bullet jumps don't really conserve momentum. With this build you're probably going to be sprinting most of the time, but still you are going to bullet jump sometimes, which is why we still have the Firewalker mod just to give us a nice little boost to our bullet jump speed. It also makes us look cool because of the effects that are coming out whenever you bullet jump. You can of course swap this out with more power duration mods, but you will need to invest another format into the build so that you can fit in Constitution or Augur Message. Next, let's take a look at Armored Agility and Rush. These two mods are going to give you extra sprint speed. As I mentioned earlier, you're probably going to be sprinting a lot more when you have this build on. Combining your high sprint speed with escape velocity, you are going to move more swiftly. I mean, these two mods are pretty self-explanatory, but for Armored Agility however, it does give you some armor which translates into more survivability. And then we have Stretch and Cunning Drift. These two mods are going to increase your power range, which is important for your wormhole's travel distance. You can actually opt for a slightly lower power duration by removing Cunning Drift. This is going to give you a more controlled wormhole travel distance so that you don't teleport too far, too close, but just nice. Personally, between 145 to 160 power range, I think it's kind of a sweet spot when it comes to the wormhole's travel distance. As I said earlier, if you have a slightly lower power range, you're going to have more control over your wormholes. But anyway, the choice is all up to you. Let's not forget the important mod in this build, which would be Escape Velocity. As I said earlier, if you walk through your portal, it will give you a speed boost for X amount of seconds. Finally, for the aura slot, it will be highly dependent on your playstyle. For me, when I use this build, I would usually carry an X-Ultra, which is why I have chosen to use Rifle Amp so that I can increase my rifle's damage even more. This is totally up to you. You can put Corrosive Projection, Energy Siphon or even Sprint Boost if you want. Finally, for the arcane choice, I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. Just use whatever you want and whatever you have. For me, it's the usual Arcane Energize and Arcane Rage because I just love my primary weapons. Now that we're done with the build, let's take a look at some tips and tricks when it comes to this speedrun build. Number 1. Take it slow. When you have this build, you don't need to flick a lot and play like a mad lad. Seriously, don't be like that guy. You want to use your wormholes in a controlled manner. Only use them whenever necessary. Number 2. Have a solid understanding of what tileset you are currently in. For those who are going to use this speedrun build, I'm pretty sure you already have a solid grasp of almost every tileset in the game, like which route should you take to reduce travel time. But when you have this speedrun build, you can instantly go from point A to point B, which is why it's pretty important to be creative when it comes to taking different routes to travel from point A to point B. Don't spam your portals like crazy, as I say in number 1. Number 3. If you want to keep your escape velocity buff active all the time, use your wormhole but facing the floor. The reason being, if you just walked through a wormhole, it will give you this speed buff. It doesn't matter if you traveled far with your wormhole, all that matters is that if you walked through it. This is also going to be particularly useful for your teammates when they know that you have an escape velocity build, so that they can just simply walk into the wormhole without getting teleported to some random place. They'll be still pretty much in the same spot with the escape velocity buff applied on them. And that's pretty much it for today's video. I do want to give you guys a chance to explore this playstyle on your own, because you know, you have to develop your own playstyle. I have mine, you have yours. So this speedrun should act as a platform for you to build stuff on. And that stuff I'm talking about is a speedrun playstyle with the Nova Prime. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys liked it, then be sure to leave a like, write a nice comment, and please consider subscribing. If you guys want to support this channel, then be sure to check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Goodbye.